Urgent Dallas Cowboys fans. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we bring you daily videos with the latest Dallas Cowboys updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Alright, Cowboys Nation, buckle up because today we're diving into some intriguing rumors and potential moves that could shake up the roster in a way we haven't seen in recent seasons. You know, as fans, we always keep our eyes glued to the offseason moves, draft prospects, and trade rumors, but this one, in particular, has caught the attention of many because it involves a possible surprise trade that could give the Cowboys a little boost at the receiver position, an area that's been a bit of a question mark lately. Now, let's set the stage here. The Cowboys, as we all know, are coming off an impressive season, making the playoffs again and showing that their defense and run game are among the best in the league. But when it comes to the passing game, especially at the wide receiver spot, there's always room for improvement. And this offseason, despite not bringing in a high-profile free agent receiver, the front office has been pretty quiet about making a splash. That's until now, because rumors are swirling that Dallas could be eyeing a trade, a surprise move, but one that could turn some heads. Now, to give you some context, right now, the Cowboys are planning to roll with CeeDee Lamb as their clear-cut number one receiver. Lamb has established himself as one of the premier playmakers in the league, a true WR1 with game-changing ability, and he's blossomed into a star in Dallas. But beyond Lamb, things get a little murky. The team currently has Jalen Tolbert, the second-year receiver who's been trying to find his footing in the league. Tolbert has shown flashes, but consistency has been a challenge, and many fans are wondering if he's the long-term solution at that second wide receiver spot. So the question is, could the Cowboys be looking to upgrade that position without necessarily replacing Tolbert immediately? The answer, according to some sources and rumors, might just be yes. And that's where a potential trade comes into play, possibly involving a player from the AFC West, specifically from the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, the Chargers, as we know, have been trying to piece together a competitive roster, especially on offense, with Justin Herbert leading the charge. But they've had some issues at the receiver position in recent years. They made a notable draft pick last season, selecting Quentin Johnston in the second round of the 2023 NFL Draft. Johnston, a highly touted young receiver out of TCU, was seen as a potential star, a guy with big playability, size, and athleticism. But unfortunately, his transition to the NFL hasn't exactly been smooth. The expectations were high, but he has struggled to live up to that hype, posting some drops and inconsistency in his rookie season. Despite that, there's still a lot of hope around him because of his physical tools and his potential to develop into a top target. You see, Johnston's situation is interesting because he's still only 23 years old, and he's on a relatively cheap rookie contract. That makes him a tempting trade target for teams like Dallas, especially if they believe they can unlock his potential. Now, the Chargers, on their side, have quite a few options. They spent a second-round pick on Trey Harris, a talented receiver from the University of Mississippi, and they also signed veteran Mike Williams, who's been a consistent producer when healthy. But Williams' injury history has been a concern, and with the addition of Ladd McConkey, a rookie from Georgia who's been turning heads with his route running and hands, it seems like the Chargers might be preparing to move on from Johnston, or at least entertain offers for him. And here's the interesting part. Bleacher Report's Alex K mentioned that Dallas could make a move for Johnston, especially if the Chargers are open to trading him for a mid-round pick. Why? Because despite the struggles, Johnston has shown flashes of the upside that made him a first-round talent just a year ago. During the season finale last year, he exploded for 13 catches and 186 yards, showing the kind of big play potential that the Cowboys could really use. Remember, in 2 seasons, he's accumulated over 100 yards and 10 touchdowns, which isn't bad for a rookie, but inconsistency and drops have hampered his development. Still, with a fresh start in Dallas, a place where he wouldn't be under the same spotlight as he was in Los Angeles, he could flourish. Think about it, in Dallas, he'd be competing with Tolbert and others for targets, but he'd also be in a system that's proven to develop wide receivers and maximize their strengths. CeeDee Lamb would certainly be the main guy, but adding Johnston could give the Cowboys an explosive element on the outside, especially if he can refine his route running and secure the ball better. It's a gamble, sure, but one that could pay off big time if the young receiver taps into his potential. And let's not forget, the Cowboys' offense is built around a strong offensive line, a solid run game led by Tony Pollard, and a quarterback in Dak Prescott who's capable of spreading the ball around. Adding a dynamic receiver like Johnston could be the piece that elevates the passing attack to another level, especially in critical moments. Now, let's talk a little more about the bigger picture here because this isn't just about one player. It's about the Cowboys trying to find ways to improve and adapt in a league where every inch counts. The NFC East remains a highly competitive division, and teams like the Eagles and Giants are constantly upgrading. Dallas knows that they need to keep pace, and sometimes that means making bold moves, even surprise trades, to stay ahead of the curve. The potential acquisition of Johnston could also be a signal to the rest of the league that Dallas is serious about contending, not just with their defense and running game, but with a more versatile and dangerous passing attack. And speaking of the season, the Cowboys are entering what many see as a pivotal year. With Dak Prescott healthy and showing improvement, and the defense continuing to be a top-tier unit, the offense's ability to stretch the field and create big plays could be the difference between a deep playoff run or an early exit. The addition of a young, explosive receiver could be the X factor that pushes Dallas over the edge. Keep in mind, the Cowboys have always been a team that values versatility and scheme adaptability. They have an experienced coaching staff that's shown they can develop young talent, and if they see Johnston as a diamond in the rough, they might pull the trigger on a trade that surprises even the most hardened fans. Now, I want to pause here for just a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Dallas Cowboys news and rumors to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it really makes a difference. Thank you. Now, let's get back to the big picture. Why would the Chargers be willing to part with Johnston? Well, they might see it as a way to recoup some draft capital and clear space for other targets, especially with their current depth chart and the need to develop other young receivers. For Dallas, it's a low-risk, potentially high-reward move. They're not giving up a first-round pick, but rather a mid-round selection, which is more than fair if Johnston reaches his ceiling. And of course, this kind of move also depends heavily on the coaching staff's confidence in their ability to develop young players and the overall team strategy. Mike McCarthy and his offensive coordinators have shown they're capable of crafting schemes that maximize offensive talent, and adding a receiver like Johnston could be part of a broader plan to diversify the Cowboys' attack. Plus, it's worth noting that the team's front office has been pretty strategic in recent years, making moves that aren't always headline-grabbing but have long-term payoffs. And now, Dallas Cowboys fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential trade? Do you think Johnston can be a hidden gem if he lands in Dallas? Or do you believe the team should focus on other areas, like bolster their offensive line or bring in a veteran wide receiver? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Cowboys. Remember, every season is a new chapter, and this offseason could be the one where Dallas makes a bold move that pays off in a big way. In the end, what we know for sure is that the Cowboys are always looking for ways to improve, and this possibility of a surprise trade involving a young receiver from the AFC West is just another example of how unpredictable and exciting NFL offseason moves can be. The NFL is a league of chess matches, and Dallas is always one step ahead, trying to find that perfect piece to complete their puzzle. Whether it's through draft picks, free agency, or sneaky trades, the Cowboys are never resting on their laurels. They want to contend, and they want to do it with a roster that can adapt, surprise, and dominate. So, keep your eyes peeled because this story is far from over. We'll be here to keep you updated, breaking down every rumor, every move, and every development that could shape the Cowboys' future. Thanks for tuning in, Cowboys fans, and as always, stay loyal, stay loud, and never stop believing in this team. The season is just around the corner, and with moves like this on the table, Who knows what incredible moments we'll witness together. Until next time, let's keep the football spirit alive and well. Go Cowboys!